we didn't want to bring up a child to regurgitate things. I need this child to be very confident in who she is, as an African child, as a Meru girl, because the father is Meru, and as a Maasai girl. And she's recently started doing Maasai classes with my dad.
Yes.
So
with your dad?
Yes, with my dad.
Oh.
Because the easiest way to brainwash anyone is a person who doesn't know their roots. It was funny because everyone was wondering what's happening to her. Has she lost the job? And you know, for some time I couldn't even tell my mom that I had left work. I was telling her that my contract has not been renewed. Eventually, I just one day wound up and said, no, I did not renew my contract because this is what I want to do. My father looked at me and said, yani hiyo ni ng'ombe yangu yote hiyo imeenda hivyo. That time I was the first girl to go to the university in this village. I was the first girl to do law and that. And so there was a lot of expectations of
lawyer.
Yes.
Hey.
So my father used to say, huyu nile wakili wangu aliacha kazi kuuza nyama. They fear that the child who is homeschooled might be an antisocial child. The thing is, you just have to expose her to many things.
Yes.
But also she needs to know, just because this is what is working for us does not make you privileged, doesn't make you better. That other thing is working for the other kids, and it works.
Yes.
The generation is seeing us going back. The generation is seeing us living how we lived and realizing there's really nothing wrong with that. They will bring up kids who are well informed. When they decide to do city or village, it's out of choice and from a place where they understand. Not because someone said living in the city is what an educated person should do.
When Reyian invited us to her ranch, which by the way is surrounded by absolutely beautiful views, I knew we were going to have a meaningful conversation. Here is a woman who made a very intentional decision, left the noise and overstimulated city life and went back to the village. Today, she runs a ranch that has grown into a very successful business, and she also took the bold step to homeschool her daughter. For her, it was very important that her child first understands who she is, learns about African knowledge and history before the world gets to shape her. On today's episode of Slow, Intentional and Conscious Living, Reyian walks us through all of it, the fears, the challenges, the wins, and why as Africans we may need to put fear aside and start reclaiming our resources.
My name is Reyian Risa. I tend to call myself a narrative changer. I run Renil Olchekut Ranch, and at Renil Olchekut Ranch, what we basically do is we are going back to how cows should have been fed from day one, grass-fed. So we are in the grass-fed market, and what we call traceable meat. Just to explain that, it means that it's meat that you can trace it back from the farmer to now to your plate, what people like to call it farm to fork. And that's basically what we do here at Renil. I'm also a mom, and I love doing what I do.
Yes. And you do it best.
Oh, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Karibu sana.
I think now even our audience are tired of hearing me say, I'm going into these very wonderful spaces and I'm meeting incredible people and we are having such a wonderful time. And even as we were coming down here, the views, we had to stop at this particular place just to take a bit of drone shots here. And then me and the team, we were saying, this is the life. This is actually the life. And I love that in your intro, you've said you are a narrative changer. What narrative are you trying to change?
One, I come from the Maasai community and I grew up knowing cows don't belong to women. So for backstories, my father has 2 wives, now 1 because my mom is deceased.
Oh, sorry.
And they took care of the cows, but the cows were my dad's and he's the one who made the decision. And then now when other communities finish school, they are told to buy a plot. Us, we are told buy cows. But you'll buy cows, then you don't have control over them.
Yes.
And then I remember when we were growing up, my dad always used to say, watu wa Nairobi wanakula punda. And for that reason, me and those people, Lynn, if I come to your house, if you have served beef, I'll tend to pass it.
Yes.
Because that doubt was there. So in between, I decided, no, there must be a way. One is there was a lot of livestock that then was being lost through the drought. And then, of course, there was then this livestock that is not owned by women. And that time I just started pushing the boundaries and
Yes.
saying, I think there's a better way we could do this. There's a better way we could keep livestock, that we don't lose them during the drought. But also there's a better way of ownership. Livestock do not have to be a gender role ownership.
Yes.
So then I started this slowly, and then now I'm doing this. I've been doing this fully for the last 4 years, taking care of cows, owning cows. Yes, every time I say that, I pause, because it's not a thing that you will say it as a magal.
Yeah. So the narrative definitely is changing through your story. I'm also learning for the very first time that cows belonged to the men.
Yes.
Not even the women. But how has your dad's reaction to this been?
I think now because he sees, success has many fathers. Now because he sees it's picking up, he kind of believe it. So from day one, my dad brought us up to push the boundaries.
Yes.
From how he took us to school, which then I would say at that time, I think out of 10 you find that you're only 2 from the same village going to school. From how he just allowed us to do things that were uncultural.
Yeah.
Now I think he's accepted. Previously, I think he couldn't believe it. He used to tell people, ni ule wakili wangu mwenye aliacha kazi kuja kuuza nyama. Now he does it very proudly. He says,
Yes.
This is my daughter. Oh, have you had the ranch? He's the one who does that. But I think now it's over time. He's realized I am also not backing down. And also there's a lot of pride that comes now, because this livelihood that is called cows is not being lost. We are now preserving the livestock, which now there is a lot of pride around the livestock and around the Maasai community with their livestock.
All right. I love to hear that. And I feel like even our conversation today really goes well with the theme that we are having this season. We are saying we are reclaiming our identity through the soil, and we are paying a key focus to slow, intentional and conscious living. First, what does reclaiming our identity through the soil mean for you? And also, I mean, this is where you live right now. Did you grow up here? Did you buy the whole rural to urban migration? So maybe if you could take us through that part of
It's
your
funny
life.
because my WhatsApp is it status, or what they people describe people, even I think in my Instagram, I always say living intentionally and purposefully.
Ooh.
I think, intentionally and purposely.
Yes.
Because reclaiming the land for me just means that you come back to, this was bare land. You come back and not only reclaim, but it now feeds you. And when I hear that, what happens is that this where we are now, it's bought.
Yes.
My husband and I own it. But where the slaughterhouse and part of the other livestock are is ancestral land that was given by my dad and continue to use in trust for my siblings.
Yes.
And when I came back here at that time, I just came from one purpose. That time I thought I needed to come and make sure that we are not losing livestock during the drought. But this started as, so there's a course, I don't know whether it's still offered. It used to be offered by Mavuno. It's called Couples and Money. And Couples and Money, at some point, there is a place where they tell you, if money was not a problem, what would you be doing? So when we were having this conversation with my husband, I said, if money was not a problem, I'll be taking care of livestock. And he's like, but you've been saying that. So I worked until when I left for a humanitarian agency.
Yeah.
I know that they give you notebooks at work when you start the year.
Yes.
It always used to be research on livestock and all that. And I still have them. They are piled up. So my husband just said, why don't you go try and do it? By that time, I thought, in my mind, I had not understood what it meant to do. So then it meant I used to come on Thursday and then go back on Saturday.
Yes.
But eventually it wasn't making sense. I told him, how about we move here and do this fully? My husband has been born and brought up in the city. He's a proper city boy. I never understand how he married a village girl. I've never understood him.
Yeah.
We need to ask him. So he kept quiet and said, okay, we could try. So we came back here and started by just putting up structures. At that time, there was a lot of drought. And then thankfully during COVID, I think it hastened the move because we were locked in here. As we came to check on some cows, we were locked in here. And that time, remember, the livestock market had been closed because of social distancing.
Yes.
So what happened? People knew there's a farm somewhere that has cows. People started coming to buy cows from here. In between, then I met a then gentleman who told me, you're doing a very good thing, but maybe do the whole value chain. from breeding, because we breed, and then what is called finishing. Finishing is just a period of observation, ranges from 30 to 120 days, and then to slaughter. So we said, I think you need to be in the whole value chain, because when you have a good product, it is lost. You might lose your product at the slaughterhouse.
Yes.
So it's like, maybe think about slaughtering. In my mind, when I was thinking about a slaughterhouse, I thought it was a huge thing. So we said, no, stop thinking big. Just start small, start modular, and grow. And then that's how now the slaughterhouse came to be.
So even the size is very intentional.
Yes.
You start small as you scale up. You don't have to have it all figured out.
I think even ranching, what ranching has taught me is that you start modular, because if you are to fence, let's just even say if you are to fence a 200-acre parcel of land, that would be very capital intensive. So you start and keep going and keep growing. When we started hay, because right now we have a lot of hay, we started with an acre. Now we have 10. And now we always say we want to do up to 200 acres under hay. So you grow. You grow, and then it also gives you freedom and the freedom to make mistakes. Because when we do the slaughterhouse, we just did a small slab that, as long as it had permits, because that's the most important, and we could control the variables of what happens in slaughter.
Yeah.
Then now you just keep moving slowly by slowly, and that has been our life. It's a gradual step, one by one.
Good.
Yeah.
Love. So you come back here and you start, right? How do you start? And then obviously your wife and your mom. Does your husband move back here with you? And what happens to your child as well?
First of all, it became very clear to me as we were thinking of moving here that there was a child involved. There was a husband. The husband actually had boarded. I think I always say, even when Reneil's stories are written, I don't think there will be a chapter without Mugambi, because sometimes, sometimes when the business is closed, you forget first. It became very clear to us that then there need to be adjustments. And then I remember the child, and I came asking, one of our mentor couple said something that up to now resonates. Why are you stressed? So you just figure out how to school your child, because the options were either take her to boarding school or leave her in Nairobi with her father, or figure out how to do schooling. At that time, I think I always think like COVID for us made us see something. So I remember our mentor couple was homeschooling their child. And I remember I asked them, how do you go about it? And you know what she told me? 1 + 1 under a tree and 1 + 1 in Braeburn is still 1 + 1.
Period.
Yes. And the most important thing is that you are with your child. So then we now started doing the homeschooling research, started attending homeschooling conferences. We just started looking and asking parents who are homeschooling, what are you doing and how, because you either leave her or take her to boarding school. I would not have taken her to boarding school. I was taken to a boarding school in the pursuit of my father giving girls education.
Yes.
He took us to boarding, every girl. But then when you, grade 3, Kilam 2, pushed to boarding school. All of us. I think at that time it was just for him. It was preservation.
Yes.
Because,
and protection.
Yes, there are no girls going to school. So if this one's, and then I think at that time for my elder sisters, because my elder sister must be 56 or 8. So at that time there was a place where I'm told the Morans will pick you up and you will walk with them.
Yes.
So I think he thought boarding school was the way. So I remember thinking boarding school is out. So we just need all of us to move to the farm. And we just started exploring homeschooling ways. That time there was also coming up after COVID, there was a lot of online school.
Yeah.
And then when I thought about online school, I just thought this child will be on the gadgets for the whole day. And that time she was, I think, 5.
Yes.
She had only just done, that time it was called PP1 and PP2. She had only done PP1 and PP2.
Yes.
So we just eventually decided to homeschool her. And we, like I'm saying, the same way as ranching, it's gradual. We've been learning at it. We started teaching her how to read and when we came here, she didn't know how to read and write. Now she can read and write. And we just started learning what works for us, what doesn't work for us.
Yes.
And it's been 5 years of homeschooling her.
5 good years.
Yes.
So how do you know this is class 1 work, class 2 work, class 3? Oh, grade. Now they are called grades.
Yeah.
I'm a grade 5. How do you know what to school her, what not to school her, what time is right for her? And I'm asking this, and you could go in depth in it, because there are a lot of people that are watching and they are honestly considering homeschooling or they've started homeschooling and they have no idea where to start. So give us a class, the A to Z of doing it right, and the challenges as well.
Yeah. Legally, the Constitution only says right to education. It doesn't tell us where and how, but the child has the right to education.
Yes.
So what happened for us, we quickly now, and this is what I always advise people who are thinking of homeschooling, think of what do you want your child to learn, okay? That time there was 844, now there's CBC. So you first settle on what curriculum do you want your child to take. And you can do whichever you want. And so for us, what we did is we decided what curriculum. At that time, we went to conferences for, that time it was 844, it was CBC, there was a many curriculum.
Yes.
And what we realized is that we didn't want to bring up a child to regurgitate things. So what we did is we settled for the IGCSE curriculum as our examining body.
Yes.
So because nevertheless, this child is not being brought in a silo. She's being brought up in an environment. So there need to be exams, there need to be cards, there need to be assessments. So for us, we picked the examining body, the Cambridge examining body. And then on the curriculum, we do what is called eclectic. Eclectic is we pick things from everywhere. For maths, we picked Singapore maths because we believe it was. For history, surprisingly, the IGCSE curriculum, do you know history? They are taught about Eastern Europe. And I remember telling the examiner, no. Imagine I'm not going to teach Eastern Europe. We're going to learn Kenya. And if you go to a house, you see a big map of Kenya.
Yes.
And it's even become sometimes, and you see, a child learns. Nevertheless, whether they're in mainstream school, whether they're in a class, a child will learn. So it's just now to decide what are your values and how do you want them to be passed down to your child.
Yes.
Because even with this day and age, they can Google anything. So for us is you have to have basics, which is maths, languages, and languages now she's doing English, Swahili, and she's recently started doing Maasai classes with my dad.
Yes.
So
with your dad?
Yes, with my dad.
Oh, wow.
So I'll send you photos. They have a week. My dad comes to the office and they sit and they do Maasai classes.
Yes.
And that actually just happened because I realized there's a lot of knowledge that my dad and his age mates were passing, but there's a language barrier. So we picked maths, science, languages, and then we pick a humanity. Humanity is either geography or history.
Yes.
So you see, in everything you do, even when we were doing our 84 system, they used to classify maths, languages, science, and humanities. So as long as those are covered, then you're covered.
Yeah.
So I always say, first decide what curriculum works best for you. Also, what works for you. Because the lucky bit is that when I came at that time, now my husband has gone back to work now. Because that time he was a student and he left work and came and supported. When I came here, we just needed to understand this child needs to learn. But remember, this child, when we're going to their market, she will learn. And that's part of learning. Remember, like, for example, my father did not step to anyone's class. But I always feel like my father is the most brilliant person I've met.
Yeah.
Because formal and informal, sometimes when informal learning, kids learn. She'll come here, we are counting sheep. She will know how to count, for sure. Sheep are born, that is multiplication. Things are multiplying, for sure. So sometimes I think because of the way we've been conditioned, especially as 844 children, we're conditioned that a class has to be a teacher and students. That doesn't necessarily have to happen. The most important thing is your child learning. What are your values that you want to pass down in this child? And what environment is this child growing into? And that's just basic. Once you cover that, then now you can go into the semantics of time management and all these other things.
How important was African history for you that you said, man, may I have to teach my daughter this? And why are you not teaching her about the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, sijui Mesopotamia, sijui mitochondria?
Because the easiest way to brainwash anyone is a person who doesn't know their roots. And if you actually, sadly, when you started doing Kenyan history, you realize that the history that is written is not the correct history. Because I always say, people keep saying the Mau Mau War. Do you know the Mau Mau War? That name was given by the British so that to make the war look like it's a dirty thing. Yes. But those guys were not Mau Mau. Those guys were fighting for freedom. And there's a lot of
freedom fighters.
But what do they call them?
Mau Mau.
When they say the treaties, because there's a lot of treaties that the Maasai signed, how do they know? So for me, it just got to a point where I need this child to be very confident in who she is, as an African child, as a Meru girl, because the father is Meru, and as a Maasai girl. And once you are comfortable with those ones, if you want to study about Eastern Europe, and with this day of AI, you will Google it.
The foundation is strong.
Yeah, the foundation is strong. And also, we need to bring up children knowing the reason why our children are running towards these other things is because they're very shaky in who they are. But you are a child, you are Kenyan first, therefore understand Kenya, appreciate the Kenyan history before you go to Eastern Europe and before you go to these other things.
Yeah.
Understand home first. Charity begins at home. Understand home first, and then from there you can now go to these other things. It's okay for you to learn Eastern Europe. In fact, we are planning a trip with her next year to Europe. But that one should learn now practically.
Yes.
And we'll be going to see farms and all that, but learn first at home. Why do the Maasai do this and this and this and this? You know, the stereotypical things we have against each other, even in Kenya as tribes, it's because we really don't understand who we are. We really just don't understand who we are. But when they understand who we are, then it's very easy for you to educate.
Yes.
Because, Lynn, I tell you, education is just that. Homeschooling is we are learning as we're in home. Okay? We go to the office. The accountant is there, he's preparing some things, she's learning here and there. Let me tell you, if you start with my daughter can tell you what Renil is from A to Z and I've not sat down like we are sitting and taught her. We are learning as we go. At that time when we came here, of course, I'm telling you gradually, you even now start bringing her into the money conversation and say, remember you bringing her up in a very nice Nairobi home and you're putting her back here and said, this is what it means for us. We can't afford this now. This is what it means. This is what the money looks like. And I always feel like I think that's a thing that I didn't get from my parents. I wasn't taught what money is. And I think that my daughter has learned because we are doing life every day. You're seeing when I'm making decisions and I'm saying, this vendor need to be paid first before this other one. This is a priority. This is not a priority. So by that is basically what homeschooling is.
Oh, that's powerful. And you know, as you are talking about money conversations, I think off camera we were talking about how she earns money from washing the dogs. How is that like?
So one of the things that we were very intentional, and I would say these things might not be mine. One of the things that we've done is a lot of parenting classes, because that's parenting and marriage, those two things never come with a manual. So one of the things is she needed to learn how to earn money. Because what happens is sometimes, because you feel like you uprooted her from a different world and you brought her here, you find that you tend to overcompensate by giving her everything that she will ask for. But we thought, but she doesn't understand the concept of making money. So one of the things that we quickly did is, and even this year she has full reign, is that we give you an allowance at the end of the month. And this allowance is supposed to take care of your hair, your clothing at the end of the year, because she shops once. But then, so you sit down. So we bring the money. She will explain to you. She has her tithing, her giving, and now we've just opened for her a unit trust. So you now see how money is made. But if you want extras, because I think, I don't know, there's this extra where they want to buy all the sweets in the world, you earn your money. Wash the dogs, come help the farm manager to count the goats and sheep, especially when sometimes that I'm traveling and you text me and say, Mama, 20 sheep came in today, this one not. Just do something, earn, use your hands to earn. And then from there, that is now it's called indiscretionary spend. You can spend your money now the way you want to spend it because you've earned it.
Yes.
As long as you put your 10% to give and your 20% to save and invest.
Okay. And screen time, how do you monitor that? Because again, she's at an age where a lot of children are experimenting with TikTok, Instagram, dance challenges. Does she do that?
In fact, she was telling me the other day, Mama, you know, people think I'm not normal. I'm like, why? Because I don't have a phone. I'm like, that's all right. You continue to be abnormal because you don't have a phone. So she has an iPad.
Yes.
That is control. We only watch on Friday, and also that's also how you earn, depending on how you did your work effectively. But the first, when she's growing up, one of the things that I felt like she was not focusing. If you focus well, then you earn a screen time.
Oh, guy, it's a reward.
Yeah, so it's a reward, and we agree this and this kind of shows is what you are watching. Generally on Saturday we are allowed, the two of us. So I pick a show, the father picks a show, and then we watch. If it's a movie, we'll go to the big screen when we're in Nairobi, and that now it's a reward she looks forward to. But for us, we don't have screen time during the week unless it's for research.
Yeah.
And it's for research, then it's a guided one, because she'll still do a lot of research. Now she's at a place where she's doing. We are trying to learn now. What are they called? We are learning what I can't forget. I keep forgetting.
Yes.
The fuel pads.
Fuel what?
Pads.
What's that?
How does fuel get to Kenya?
Aye.
And how does and how is the Iran war?
Hey, Muga. Wait, but how old is she?
She's 11.
Oh, she's learning about what again? Fuel pads.
Yes.
How fuel gets from
Yes.
Iran to...
Because now she thinks they're expensive.
Mi narudia school fees yangu. So which... you learned that in 844?
No.
Did they teach us fuel
No,
pads?
they didn't. But you see, she started asking question. Mama, why can't we? So one of the things that we have done is we continue to serve and go to church. So
Yes.
sometimes I'm like, hey, Mama, this time I think we'll go only twice. Why? Because I think fuel is going to become expensive. Why? Because it's a war. How does the war affect fuel? I'm like, very good. Let's start to see how that fuel comes up to here to Kenya, and how that war affects that fuel. And you see, people kept saying Ukraine is
Yes.
affecting prices, but you need to know, you need to make her understand this is what it means by Ukraine affecting the prices.
Yeah.
So now that's the time she'll be allowed to use the iPad
Yes.
to do research, and it's purely for research. The Bible says foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So sometimes she will sneak in, and if she sneaks in, then we take away.
Yes.
So there's a very reward and consequence. Thankfully, the father is an IT person, so he can quickly monitor and say, oh, by the way, when she was researching, like last week, when she was researching, she went to YouTube and watched nails. Or you watch nails, so that means that
she's gaining interest.
That means that this Friday you don't have screen time.
Yes. But also it also means maybe she's getting interested in
nails,
nails and stuff.
She now wants she's at a season where this year she wants to become a nail technician. So I don't know what next year. She's always moving. She's always moving. There's time she wants to become a gynecologist because of the animals giving birth. Here, and one had a complication, and we had to help it give birth. That's another thing I'm telling you about life. Is that an animal is giving birth. That is a whole reproductive science tumefanya, because it's an animal giving birth. So this is how animals give birth. And this is how human beings also give birth.
So hakuna ati unamdanganya the child comes from
sijui
up there.
She will explain to you, because you see also it's a farm. Honestly, it's mating season, and when it's mating season, let me tell you, all the bulls, all the goats, all the sheep, kila mtu anapiga kelele kwa hii farm. So it's like explaining it's a mating season. And this is what happens. There are hormones. And Mama, I know what, when you grow to that age, you'll also have the hormones. And this is what is going to happen. And it is very easy now to just do. There are conversations that I feel like it was very hard for us to have with our parents, but I don't know why they didn't have it, because we grew up around animals. And this time, like when her puppy gave birth this time around, she was the one who looked for a box and made it comfortable. She's the one who said, Mama, I think TJ is about to give birth, because she could tell. And now you see now, she now knows.
Yeah.
So if and I pray that she will want children and God allows her, then this is not a foreign thing.
She already knows.
She already knows.
That is so. Do you wish these are some of the things that we learned, and also what are some of the things that you have had to unlearn from what we learned, especially due to rural-urban migration and also our education system?
One of the things I always feel like, our education system was made to create good workers, not good thinkers. Because you go to class, 1 + 1, and then after that, finish Form 4, you go to university, get a good job, and that's it. And what happens when markers of success is that we have all moved out of the village, and the village is deserted. But what has that made me think is I want to bring up a thinker, a person who questions and asks why is this happening?
Yeah.
Fine, we've learned broad mass, but how is broad mass applied in everyday's life? We are learning this, but how is it applied in everyday life? So I think that is what happens. And also, if at one day she decides to move to the city, she'll move to the city because she has decided to, but not because it's what she's been rewired and to think. She'll move because conscious decision she's made, that she's okay with it. However, she needs to understand that there is a person living in London and a person living here. The only difference is that they have a lot of street lights and we don't have. And plus, why do we need street lights? We have the moon.
Yes, lovely. One of the things I also picked as you were talking about the things you're intentional on teaching her was the Maasai language, right? Why was that important? And the reason I'm asking is because when I was hosting Elijah of Ubuntu, he made this statement that I think will live in my mind forever. He said, Lynn, no matter how bad it might sound, the best way for Africans to move forward is to move backwards, right? And you know, when we were growing up, alafu usikie maybe mtu anaongea Kikuyu, unamwangalia tu zile za guy. Kwani how stupid is this? Because again, English was
a matter of intelligence.
Guy,
I'm
telling you. Yes. So for you, are you trying to go backwards? Are you trying to go back to the roots and make sure that you're also giving her the best?
One of the things that I have taught my daughter and continue to teach her is that language is language. There's no way where we admire someone because they speak German, French, and what. But you don't admire her because she speaks Kamba, Maasai, Swahili. You know, we are by then multilingual.
Yes.
But what does the UN say? UN languages are German, French, and whatever. There's one language I'm forgetting. But Kiswahili is one of the largest spoken languages. Why did they not put there? So for me, it's just that you have to go back and understand that language is just a form of communication. We are speaking English because that is what we can understand each other. So go back to the Ma and learn the Maasai. And one day, thankfully, if Mugambi decides to speak to her in Meru, that is all right. But for now, you're going to learn Ma. The other thing that why I also very insisted on her speaking Ma is that I want her to have a very good relationship with my father. And there's a language barrier. And you know, it's only in Africa where when we come speaking in a foreign language, it's a mark of sophistication.
Aesthetics.
Ndio, Kizungu.
Kwanza hiyo Kizungu yake ni poa.
Akino sikia vile anaongea Kizungu.
You know, my child has started speaking good English.
I always say it's just a mark of communication.
Yes.
If you can't communicate to the nanny in Swahili, then actually you're either very slow or there's something extremely long, because why you not communicate to the language people communicate? And so for me, that's one. But I also wanted her to learn. We are in the Ma community. There is a lot of information that will only pass through language. So you need to learn. And now, thankfully, my father is in his 80s, going to his 90s. He has a lot of friends. That is the only way you will learn. And there's really nothing fancy about you knowing to speak English so well and you can't speak your mother tongue.
Powerful, man. We are learning. It's painful.
Slavery, if you think about it.
It's actually slavery, but me, I said I will use it now to the best of my ability. Now, we have to accept we were influenced the way we were influenced. English is here, but I'm also really trying to make sure when I get to people like from my tribe, I'm actually learning Lu right now. Yeah, but when I get to my Kikuyu people, I really love now communicating
to them.
Yeah, using that language. It's a lot of unlearning. Unajiona pia we ni mjinga kidogo. Unashindwa sasa who am I? You know, who am I? But tuna make progress.
But unajua language is a means of communication.
Yes.
There was a narrative that made us believe that English is a superior language than the other one. Because if my father communicates with his friends in Maasai and they understand each other, that's exactly the purpose of language, is to communicate. And they have communicated.
Yes.
Nothing's make Maasai or any other indigenous language inferior than English. It's a form of communication.
Yes.
And it ends there, and that's it.
Good. I want to get back to what you are doing in this land, because again, for me, it's wonderful to see Africans going back to the lands and reclaiming the resources and owning their resources. But maybe as we wind up on the homeschooling part, a parent is watching and they are wondering, so do you have a timetable? Do you do 8 to 5? Does she wake up 5 in the morning? Or how are there days when she doesn't feel like going to class? Or how does that look like?
Remember, we are bringing up a child. So the reason why we are bringing up a child, a citizen of the world, the reason why we have a timetable is just so that there's structure in our life. So we have a timetable that we necessarily do not adhere to it, but it is a guide. Because she wakes up at 6:30, And we know that no matter how the day is bad, you have at least to do three subjects.
Okay.
That's normally either a maths, a science, or a language. You have to do it. And what we've done is we've also allowed her to feel like she has the freedom to decide, I want to start with maths,
End up with
English
or history.
or
Yeah.
history. But we have a timetable. You always have, it's good, structure is good. But also one of the things that you also know is they quickly know how to take, to own their time and how to manage their time. Because of course, you'll have to have structure. That thing you do is, there are things that are dear to us. Like for me, I am bringing up in the Christian values. So no matter what, on a bad day,
Yes.
you will have to do your Bible. And that's another way we actually reward. We thought instead of using the stick, we use the carrot.
Yes.
So for every 20 verses you read,
Yeah.
then, and you're able to write as, you see now also, that's what we've done. We've used the Bible as a tool, you're learning, but you also have integrated it such that it's a language thing, because you write an essay. Today I learned this, and now I think now she's in Acts. Oh, she's finished Acts. I'm not sure whether she's finished Acts. So you read, and out of it you have done a synopsis. Those are two things in one. She's already done. So on a bad day, because no matter how bad the day is, you have to read your Bible.
Yes.
We have learned.
Yes.
So you just need to figure out what structure works for you. But also remember, you don't want to bring up a child who has no sense of time and no sense of purpose.
Yes.
So you'll have to come up with a timetable that works for you. There are days when I'm able to sit through and we do the whole schooling. There are days where today our schooling is, we are going to do inventory in the slaughterhouse.
Yes.
And that is schooling. And it just works, whatever works for you, because I also realize not everyone has the ability to have the time to school, but you could involve others. What I've seen, especially, I always envy people in the city, because you can be in an estate and you can homeschool your children together as long as you have common values.
Yeah, and thanks for that, because it actually leads me to my last question. Does she have friends around? Does it get lonely? And are you not scared that because you have exposed her to this kind of education, when she goes out, she might appear different? I remember once I was having a conversation, I had something. And I think there's a parent who had exposed their children to tech. And there was a very insensitive comment that was made that huyu ana waste watoto wake because wakitoka nje they won't know how to bond with other regular children. So how do you deal with that?
And that's a question that many people ask, and I feel like it's a myth that is not true. Because kids socialize. We have neighbors, they will socialize with the neighbors.
Yes.
But also what I did quickly is I made the area, the home, a fun place for the other neighbors to be.
Good.
So one of the things is they will come, they know they will come. If you go to Mama Namayana's house, there'll be snacks, there'll be a lot of games, because we do a lot of board games. So you make them fun for them. Also, because most of her friends in Nairobi are in mainstream school, I have, during the time you come here, and I have 10 children, my sitting room is full of mattresses.
Way.
Yes, because we'll come here, they want to do farm life. So what I've done is that I've looked for a community that is intentionally bringing up their children. They might not be able to do homeschooling, but they still can come. So the child still interacts. Of course, the first time when you came here, it was a challenge, because one, you always look like the neighbor who is doing better than the rest.
Yeah.
But that's the time now you teach her that you're not doing better than the rest. In your mind, you think better, because my neighbor there in Amanyata has everything you don't have. Doesn't pay rent, doesn't pay power, has their milk. In fact, they're the ones who are giving us milk.
Yes.
And they're eating healthy. So it's a balance. And kids, whatever you give your kid, she will adjust. So what happens is you also need to be very intentional, because even for me, when I was moving here, it becomes very lonely, but you become very intentional. Is that you reach out to families that are either homeschooling, you reach out to, because now there was extracurricular activities that now we had to go once or twice in Nairobi for her to do. Thankfully, our community is growing. We now have someone who has just built a sport complex.
Wow.
And there's another family that has just moved in that
Yes.
has 5 children, they are homeschooling. The
Beautiful.
community has grown.
Yes.
So you just have to be intentional. But let me tell you, there's a difference between exposing a child without guidance and exposing them with guidance. So she's exposed, but she also knows that people are different. And she also knew that she needs to interact with different people.
Yeah.
But that's, people always say that they fear that the child who is homeschooled might be an antisocial child. But I always say, even in our friendship, we have older friends and we have younger friends.
Yes.
So they are still interacting with neighbors. When you go to the office, there'll be other people. Here, there are a lot of workers. They will interact. And the thing is, you just have to expose her to many things.
Yes.
But also, she needs to know, just because this is what is working for us does not make you privileged, does make you be better. That other thing is working for the other kids, and it works.
Yes. And I love that you address that, because another thing that has really destroyed us as millennials is the art of thinking the people who grew up in the city are more sophisticated, and then the ones who were left in the village were naive. Wait, hey, yeah, again, we are unlearning.
Yeah,
but
we
for
are.
you now coming back, how do you view that, and how would you have loved for us to view it from the beginning?
I think I keep saying that it changes, because there was a time I honestly didn't think I'll come back to the village. What is the dream? You buy your own house, you do all this and this and this. But the moment I realized that you cannot live intentionally, but you're also not eating intentionally, because even the things you put in your body has to be intentional. It made me change perspective. If you found younger me, I thought younger me doing well is they're in bougie schools, they're doing this and this and this.
Yeah.
But I think it takes time for you to rethink what exactly is.
Yes.
Am I living someone else's narrative, or what exactly is needed for me at this time? At that time when I came here, I think it was funny, because everyone was wondering what's happening to her. Has she lost a job? And for some time I couldn't even tell my mom that I had left work. I was telling her that my contract has not been renewed, because you didn't know how they'll accept it. You will just say, you're not going back to work. I'm like, no, my contract has not been renewed. Eventually, I just one day wound up and said, no, I did not renew my contract, because this is what I want to do. And let me tell you,
yeah,
I used to remember my father looked at me and said, yani hiyo ni ng'ombe yangu yote hiyo imeenda hivyo. Because ng'ombe ninauzwa kulipwa school fees. And remember, but there, maybe just at that time to blow my own time. At that time, I was the first girl to go to the university in this village. I was the first girl to do law and that. And so there was a lot of expectations of
lawyer.
Yes.
Hey.
So my father used to say, huyu nile wakili wangu aliacha kazi kuuza nyama. So my father kept telling me, sasa ndaambia watu nini?
What will people think?
Yeah. And people are wondering, did she really go to, are you sure this girl went to school and did law? And eventually, and I just remember thinking, no, we need this land. First of all, like when we came here, people had cut trees. I'm like, the reason actually why you guys are suffering from drought is because of the things, how you're treating the land. But also, had someone told us, that time when we were millennials, told us how to apply our education, it's to solve the current problems we are facing. And for me, what was the current problem I was facing is that my community was literally losing their wealth because of drought.
Yes.
So for me, I just felt like that was the best application. Now I think with time they have gotten used to.
Yeah.
They have gotten used to because they're like, oh, year 1 she's still here, year 2 she's still here,
yes,
in year 3 she's still here. Yeah.
Good. I love that. Sasa inawaingia, you know, and just so very proud of you for spearheading. I know you're going to be an inspiration
to
so many people that are, because it's a scary journey.
It is
as well. You come back, also there are withdrawals. You are used to the hustle and bustle of the city, and then you come back unashindwa sasa. Inaangalia tu milima.
No, umechoka na hakuna mahali ya kudial.
Yes. How did you deal with yours?
Let me tell you, umekuja umechoka, kwanza umechoka, and then you come back and you're like, and we need to eat. And then you move your phone, you're like, let me call, and then you realize, no.
Yes.
There's nothing to call here. So what does that mean? You now just have to figure out things. And what that meant is that we really then understood our foods. You know, if before we came here, I didn't think I'd survive without those nice life things. Fridge, microwave, and now
2 sausages.
Yes. And now we've learned just to survive. And also it made you appreciate the essence of community that is in the village, that people are losing it. Because I remember this day I'd come, we were building the slaughterhouse, I was so tired. I remember I did it, I just felt like I want to eat something. And there was no I was going to cook. Do you know what I did? I sent a child to this neighborhood and to their home and told, ambia mama yako amepika nini anipatie.
You know?
Na unajua nitumaniwa hotpot ya chakula na nikakula. And in fact, it became so, I have such fondness for my neighbors because it became such a thing that when they used to see me, when they say that I've parked my car, a child will come bring me milk in a jug, will bring me tea. And now it means, do you know how that feels cared for? As in mtu ameona gari yako imepark.
Yes.
Akajua mtu amechoka. Mtu ametoka mjengo amechoka. And then something. And it's a thing we are losing. I don't know in Nairobi whether, even if you are tired, I don't think whether you will knock your neighbor's door.
Actually, majority of the people don't even know who their neighbor is. You don't know who lives next to you, honestly. You know? You know me what I mean? Man, it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
I just, as you are saying, ulitumana kwa I just miss growing up with my cousins and then we in our home and maybe my auntie is making chapati zuko and then anaweka hata kama ni 4 ama 5 hizo peleka kwa kinashko ama when my grandpa would harvest the honey and then he would call us to help him to itoanisha and then we would all look forward to tasting the honey. And you know, we are like 10 of us there with our grandpa.
Yes.
Man, I would give up everything to go back to that.
So for us, we grew up in a typical Manyata.
Yes.
And the way Manyatas are built in Masai is that my elder mother, because she's elder, because she's the first wife, lives on this other side. My elder mother will live at the side, north, south. I don't know how they place.
Yes.
And I remember my elder sisters would always tell me, "Munapika nini kwenyu?" And I say, I don't know. You know, angalia because say kula kile tunapika hapa. And you had options. You always had options. You're like, I don't feel like. But for us, we grew up. I always say I hate chapo because my mom cooked chapo every day, almost every day of our life.
Yes.
So ilikuwa tukifanya chapo, unahepa unaenda kwa madhe, mwingine unakula ugali, unakuja unakaa.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even think you can do that to your neighbors. In fact, I find when I go to Nairobi to visit people and I say hi to neighbors, they feel like you're up to something.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that I'm sitting with someone from the Ma community because you can help us demystify some of the things. You know, when people see Manyatas, the assumption is, hawaezi jenga nyumba ingine. Kwani huyu maskini imefikisha watu wapi? See, I thought they have animals.
Oh, yes.
See, I thought they can sell and build a good house. Where do people go wrong when they think like that?
My architect was telling me this day so I kept telling you gradually, like even our house we've built and then we've said, let's take a breather, we'll continue.
Yes.
So my architect was telling me, you know, brick and mortar was such a British thing. If really we were living towards the standards of what should be a good building material here, it would have been how the Maasais built it. Maybe what we would have done now is just add a bit of things a bit of space.
Yes.
But you know the Manyata right now, the way there's this heat, it's the coolest. It's cool. It's hot during the night. It protects them, and that was what practicality is for them. But we made to believe that this type of material is superior to this. And actually, but you see now they are building with mud.
Thanks.
And they are being featured in CNN.
Thank you. Baby say, see them now, that's your style. See, they have normalized stealing what is culturally ours and making it theirs.
But it's the same thing. We've been doing that.
See, again, our food was
yes.
See, now it's super food.
Super food. And you can't afford them.
No, the most expensive.
Yes.
See, our fashion was backwards. Yes. But now it's in Paris.
Yes. They have actually patented the Masai Shuka.
Yes.
How are you patenting the Masai Shuka? Louis Vuitton has patented it.
Yes.
So I think for me it's just, but you see the thing is, we also bring up a generation that are seeing us. That's what rewiring of the mind does. The generation is seeing us going back. The generation is seeing us living how we lived, and realizing there's really nothing wrong with that. They will bring up kids who are well informed, and appreciate. So when they decide to do city or village, whatever you call it, it's out of choice and from a place where they understand, not because someone said living in the city is what an educated person should do. It will be out of, I think they have decided.
Yes. Love that. Now, let's get to land and also the model of business that you are operating here. Because again, I think I go back to the gentleman that told you and encouraged you to do it 360,
Yes.
the A to Z. And I really want you to touch on that for any farmer that is out there. Because one of the things that is also killing us as Africans, especially in the farming or the livestock sector, is that the farmer does the hard
Majority of the
job
work.
and then the fruits are with other
Someone
people.
else,
So we are
yes.
going to get to that shortly. But talking about land, on the platform, we have had a lot of conversations on conservancies. And conservancies and land injustices are one of the things that have really affected the Ma community.
Yeah.
From your POV, how does that really affect the community? Hii kitu ni sisi tunajijazia.
Hey.
Is it true? And also from a lawyer's perspective, have you tried helping the community?
The thing is,
Yes.
the land, thankfully, in the Kajiado East, where that's
Yes.
where I come from,
Yes.
is free leasehold.
Yes.
But just across, our neighbors are free leasehold, but there's something called land use. Land use means you can only use this land in this particular way. And you realize, you wonder who is it favoring? Because this wildlife, we actually coexist. If you realize, everywhere where you have a water point, we fence. Why? Because if you leave it open, there will be elephants. And you realize that even the Ma community are the people that are still living cohesively with the wildlife.
Yes.
However, when it's affecting their life, no one raises eyes. But wait until and I'm not saying wildlife should be killed. Please,
Yes.
let's just be very clear. But wait until a wildlife is touched, and we'll see it everywhere. So sometimes I feel like that's also another thing that even as the Ma people, we need to go back and ask ourselves, these conservancy agreements that we have, who is it favoring? Because the wildlife industry is $1 million industry.
Yeah,
but
billion actually.
yes, who is it
Benefiting.
benefiting? When you are told, yes, you can have a freehold title, but you can only do this and this and this because it's a wildlife corridor, well and good. But where is the compensation for me? Where is, because it's like shika, but see yako kabisa. So for me, I've always asked myself, who is benefiting from those kind of land use agreements? Because the community is not benefiting, and they will lie to you. Because you have one boy, because that's what they do. I think in the neighboring community, not neighboring community, the neighboring lands now.
Yes.
Is that for every person you'll be given a job of being a wardener? How is that benefiting you?
That's a slap.
Yes, but in fact, had you come, but also during the drought, you're also not allowed to go to the park
and graze
your animal. So who is it benefiting? These agreements, who are they benefiting? Because if it's a partnership, it means we will conserve for you the pasture, and during the drought, you guys can have this side. Yes. It will actually protect your livestock from the wildlife. I always feel like there's something, there's more than meets the eye, but who is it benefiting? Because it's not the community.
And not Africans.
Not Africans.
Not Africans.
Yes,
not Africans. Not
who is
Africans.
it benefiting? There must be someone.
Yes. But I love that people are having this. I keep saying the more conversations we have around it, the more we will open more we will open our eyes. But guys, please go back and take ownership of your lands.
And please go and look what is land use.
Yes.
And who signed land use. That's why now we're seeing a lot of conflicts with the wildlife. Because when they are giving, it's like you feel like the wildlife is being given more priority than a human life.
Yes. But that's true. Haven't we shared stories where someone lost their eye, where someone was shot in these conservancies? But let's come back to the business that you run here. I've seen you have sheep, you have goats, and you even have cows.
Yes.
Like, for you to run a successful business around those three, what are the key things that you must consider?
First of all, you need to ask yourself, as the farmer, what part are you playing? Are you a breeder, or are you a meat person, or what you call harvesting for meat?
Yes.
And for me, I decided to play the meat. Why? Because, again, tuliambiwa nyama ya Nairobi ni ya punda. So I was like, no, I'm not eating nyama ya punda. And then at that time, people will come and say, especially in my house, in nyama ya wapi, it tastes different. I'm like, this is how meat should taste.
Yes.
Then there's actually, and I think I'll look for that article and send you. Then there was a time I think we were having a conversation with my pediatrician. I'll go back to the farming. And you're saying the reason why kids nowadays are having a high strand of antibiotics is because of the antibiotic residue in meat. Chicken is one of the culprit, and now again it was becoming to the red meat.
Yes.
So at that time, how do you then control that? It's by just being in the whole value chain. And like if I will speak for me as a Maasai child, since time immemorial, we've had cows. But do you know why I never used to want to do cows? I always used to feel like it was the most unprofitable business ever. Why? Because someone else made the money. Once you sell it, and please note, this grass-fed, now everyone is saying it's grass-fed. And I am guilty because even when you buy my meat as the grass-fed label, Maasais have been doing this
For forever.
For forever. It's actually greed that made us start feeding them things that should not be fed.
Yes.
I started as just doing finishing and selling livestock for you to go decide what you want to do with it. But when the gentleman sat down and told me to think through it, and I thought, actually, that is where the money is for the farmer. Be in the whole value chain. If you are growing maize, go the step ahead and mill it.
Yes.
And sell it as an end product. Why? The end product always tend to have more value than the raw product.
Look at coffee.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we did with the meat. We decided, all right, so now we are bringing up good animals. But we were losing it at the slaughterhouse because at the slaughterhouse, you can't control the variables. You can't control how many people handled it. You can't control how it was slaughtered. You can't control the many other things you can't control. So we decided it would be such a shame for us to be everywhere. You have conserved pasture, you have preserved water, and this place can get dry, Lynn. Oh my God. You have done all this, and then you lose it at when now it becomes a finished product. So what we did was we just now got involved and said we'll be in the very end value chain. We will breed, we will finish, we will harvest, we will slaughter, and we will condition. There's something called conditioning in the cold room. We will condition it, and then we will sell to you as a finished product. And so for the community that don't, and now that's another thing that I had to do with the community. For you that don't want to do it, don't sell it at a throwaway price. Bring it, let us finish, and you'll fetch better prices.
Yes.
And so that's brought something called aggregation. If you've seen meat, by the way, if you look at how meat is handled in this Kenya, you might not eat meat. I always say, every pastoral county has good meat, be it be Kajiado, be it be Narok, be it be Garissa. But how is it slaughtered? Once it's slaughtered in the slaughterhouse, someone picks it up on a cart and put it here. You take it to a pickup. The pickup is taken to Bama. And in Bama now someone else removes it. When they remove it, they take it. Do you know how many people have touched? Do you know how many microbialism you introduced to that meat? And that's why you cannot fetch a good price. But there are people who, I like where we are going as Kenyans. There are people who want the peace of mind that I know where this meat comes from.
I know where these vegetables
come
are
from.
I know where my tea is
come
coming from.
And those ones normally are willing to pay for it. So what happens is we will breed the animals. So we will breed the goats, we'll breed the sheep, we'll breed the cows. When they are ready for harvesting, when they get to the certain weight we want, we harvest it, we slaughter it, and now we just deliver it to you when it's just, even the way we do packaging, we vacuum seal so that we remove all the air. So that if you want to introduce bacteria, ni kwako. But between slaughter and bringing it to you, we've made sure that you are eating peace of mind.
Wow, I love that. Was it, I know right now it might look easy, but was it always this easy? And what are some of the challenges that you experienced? And even if you were to go back, what mistakes would you avoid?
It is not easy. One, it's a capital intensive project. Two, you have to master. That is now where you start changing a bit of the culture. That's where now you need to bring a bit of the education that you went to school with. It's like a school fees into work. Because one of the things for you to have an antibiotic-free animal, and I'm very happy that you're here because you'll find in our cold room we have vaccines that have just come in. You have to do something called regular vaccination. Because when you prevent the disease, it now means you'll have an antibiotic-free meat. Every time someone tells you antibiotic free, tell them to show you their health chart of their animal.
Aya.
If they can't show you hakuna kitu inaitwa antibiotic free.
Wacha nayo.
Because anakuambia antibiotic free, you show me your health chart. Health chart means day 10 they were vaccinated against, now it's a rainy season, against all the rainy diseases. And if they have not vaccinated, it means then we are treating, because they have to be unwell. So it means we use a high strand of antibiotics. Then show me then the last time you treated it. Did it go through withdrawal period? So for me, that was the unlearning I had to do. And remember, our herders, all of them are from my community. They have what is called knowledge to take care of these animals.
Yes.
And the knowledge they have is not a textbook knowledge. It's experiential knowledge.
It's in the culture.
Yes. So I have to keep telling them, let's tweak. I understand what you're saying, but let's tweak it a bit. Let's introduce vaccine.
Yes.
And there was a time I even told one of them, let's do this then. Let's divide this. Let's give those ones vaccines, and let's not give them vaccines.
We see.
So, also that had to be an unlearning thing. And then now it goes to a point also, the traceable meat, who are they for in Kenya? The expatriates.
Yes, honey.
Chakula yetu ni mzuri, but not for us.
Yes.
And Kenyans start questioning, what do you mean by grass-fed? Kwani wanyama wamekuwa wakikula nini? The trash animals eat in these streets, but that one is okay for us for it to be slaughtered, but we don't. So of course now you're going against the grain. And I remember the first time when I visited a ranch that I admire, that I want one day I want to be that farm that is run, but it's purely non-Kenyan. How they have that ranch I also don't know. They just told me, you want to price your meat at 1,000 a kilo? Why? I said, because I just want that even ordinary Reyian can afford this traceable meat.
Yes.
They're like, no, you're wasting your time. Move it to the 2,000 and you'll have your niche products. But now what has happened, Kenyans have started learning. Kenyans are aware, and Kenyans are appreciating what is called the traceable food. So they are buying. So that was one of the challenges. The first thing was just mindset change. That even you are entitled to eat good meat. It is not for the who and who.
Expatriates,
it is
or
for
the
us.
high-end. Yes, it's for us.
So that was one of the challenges. That challenge, you realize that for you to maintain that, there are a lot of things that you need to incur. Because when the meat leaves the slaughterhouse, they are living from a controlled temperature. They need to go to a controlled temperature car.
Yes.
How many people want to invest in that?
Yeah.
So it means you also have to have that challenge.
Can you see me kula yenye nimekuja na iko sawa?
Kula yako iko sawa. In fact, I left them preparing ice packs for you. So that the ice packs is done.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's also what I'm enjoying.
Yes.
I'm going home with quality meat.
And you can tell, and sometimes even just, it's also tell Kenyans, it starts with us. Ask your butcher, hii nyama imetoka wapi? Like for real, hii nyama imetoka wapi? If we can't explain to you, you see traceable meat, tuachane naye. And then if you've noticed, and I'm happy that I saw 1 or 2 supermarkets recently that have started to do, meat generally should stay in a certain temperature until they are processed, and then now they can be frozen.
Yes.
But what most butcheries do, they buy a carcass, tukifunga biashara leo, tunapeleka kwa freezer.
Yeah, then kesho tunatoa.
So what are you doing? You're introducing bacteria. But if you had, and I understand why they will not do that. Cold rooms are very expensive.
Yes.
So sometimes, even sometimes I understand why farmers do a lot of pre-harvest lost. It's because just the cooling system for us to preserve is very expensive. So there are a lot of challenges around it. But also the other challenges is that because of the drought of 2017, the Maa community lost a lot of livestock.
Yes.
So now we are trying to rebuild. But rebuilding carefully that we also don't overgraze, because that's the difference. You can have enough livestock that is enough for your 200 acres, but that is not overgrazing.
Yes.
So those are the challenges. So there's the part of the community, and there's a part of course the capex, and there's the part of then now a mindset shift towards from even our people who like stock our meat.
Lovely. You know, you spoke about vaccines. Maybe I'm asking this even for myself. When people hear vaccines, they're like, Mr. Kinyama imedungwa vaccines. You remember there was a livestock vaccines that farmers were really against last year because of the person that is vouching for that. The gated people, the gates or whatever.
Yeah.
So what is a good vaccine
one of the things is vaccine is just a preventative way.
Yeah.
But even for us, when that vaccine was coming, we've been paying for vaccines throughout. Why all of a sudden do you want to pay? And vaccines is the most expensive bit of
This
livestock.
process.
Yes, because you'll find like a small thing, it's costing you very, very huge amounts. But when someone starts wanting to give you every time someone is trying to give you a freebie, maybe that is why people are refusing our free vegetables, question it. So vaccine is just generally for you to prevent a disease.
Yes.
So during the rainfall season, there are diseases that are prone, that comes with the rain. So it's for you to prevent. And remember, the Veterinary Act of Kenya, which we don't follow. Kenya have very good laws, just that we don't execute them well. Provides that at least anything has to go to from 28 days and above withdrawal period. So yes, I will understand why people are ish about vaccine, but you have the power to decide what vaccine works for you.
Yes.
Because you also, and then also not all areas suffer the same diseases. Rift Valley, we have foot and mouth.
Yes.
Other places have black anthrax. So you have to also understand what really works and in which environment you are in, so that you treat it. But know what you are giving your animals. Vaccines have been there since time immemorial, and it's been what that's why maybe most farmers have not done it, because it's a very expensive thing.
Yeah.
But always ask yourself, who is behind it? Who is behind it?
Who is behind
Yes.
it? That is very important. The who is behind it is very important. But do you pay yourself as a farmer?
Oh yes, oh yes. One of the things that I did, and sometimes I don't know whether maybe I should give my husband credit, is that when I came to start this, I realized I was in the humanitarian section. If you walk me at that time and ask me, who is a refugee? Let me tell you, I will tell you how you can become a refugee. I can tell you how you can seek asylum.
Yes.
But I had not known how to run a business. So what I quickly did is I went and did business and took business management classes.
Good.
Because you might be having brilliant ideas, but if you're not running it the way it should be run, you'll get very tired.
Yes.
And this job can be very tiring. So what happens is I am in the payroll like any other person.
Good.
You pay me my salary because my time value of money.
Yes.
I'm spending money here. I'm coming up with ideas here. Because if I was to hire someone else today, which is one thing, I will pay them. So why are you not paying yourself? And all the self-farmers, it doesn't have to be a ridiculous amount, but have something that belongs to you, that is yours, so that it's very easy for you then to manage the farm. Because this issue of vaccination and all that, you are able to actually make sense. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Because Lynn, I can tell you now, and this one I've worked with through our accountant, I can tell you we spend, let's say, $1 per goat for salting per month. And therefore, even when I'm pricing my meat, I exactly know what it took me to produce a kilo of meat.
All factors considered.
Yes.
I love that. Wakulima wajilipe.
Wajilipe. And then umechapwa na jua, umeenda livestock market.
Yes. Halafu ujilipi.
Haujilipi.
Yako tu ni okay, hii
kila mtu analipwa.
Kila mtu analipwa.
But you. And then now you understand why. Maybe that is why people didn't want to do farming. Maybe it's because they saw that their parents were not paying themselves.
Yes.
But let me tell you, when farming is run professionally, like how you run any other business, it's actually a profitable enterprise.
It is.
And they also had a perception of how they look like.
Yes.
Let me tell you, one of the things that I did because of doing that business class, we were able to get a bit of investment here and there. And so sometimes I go to facilitate trainings on profitable livestock keeping.
Yes.
Every time I'm doing like, she doesn't look like a farmer. I'm like, farmers need to look like how?
I know.
In fact, by then, I call myself herding in hills because I'll come to that training
in
hills.
Yes.
And I take care of livestock.
Good.
Because our kids also need to look and see that it's not what we thought. Yes, kifika mahali nitawid because I need hay.
Yes.
But that's not the end of it.
That's not the end of it. Yeah, and I almost forgot, maybe before I let you go, we are sitting in this hay, and one of the things that you do in the farm, you make sure that uko na hay.
Yes.
Because now sometimes people look at farms and they're like, Kwani she's not planting anything there? Kwani is idle farm?
And after you look at the grass and you think it's idle.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I always say for farmers, especially livestock farmers, work backwards. start with pasture and water. Because when you have the money, you will get livestock.
Yes.
But let me tell you, and also because we are very into the grass-fed market, you also need to have it. So for us, it started pasture conservation,
Yes.
pasture preservation, pasture conservation, and now we are doing pasture planting. So we plant hay, harvest it. You can see some are still green.
Yes.
When they're still green, dry and put it in the hay store. They'll come in handy. Let me tell you, you come here in September, and that's the thing now we're also able to do. We're able to give you quality meat throughout the year. Because when we see it's now drying, we remove hay, and our animals are eating hay. When we see it's now this time, and you see even now during the rainy season, let me tell you, Lynn, because of the many greens, the animals are having runny stomachs. It's called acidiosis. So we will throw in a bale here and there to balance.
Yes.
To balance the aromatoids. So that's the thing. So if you're going to be a livestock farmer, work backwards.
Yes.
In fact, every time when someone comes here and say, I want to do either goats and sheep, or I want to do cows, I always say, do you have storage for pasture? Because that is what differentiates you. Do you know the drought can go as bad as the goats we normally buy here for 6,000,
Yes.
go up to even 500.
I know, man. We see that.
But if you have pasture,
you are good.
let me tell you, it's there's a saying in my culture that says, when other people are suffering, there's one who is always thriving. It is the preparation.
Yes.
Because what happens? People are throwing away their livestock at that time. You have enough pasture.
Who gets access to your meat?
Oh,
pia umeamua ni expatriates peke. Who gets
Interestingly,
access,
no,
and how
actually-
does it get to people?
actually-
Do they come here?
No. Actually, for households in Nairobi, we deliver to their doorsteps.
Wow.
It's a very simplified method. You go online, you either go to our WhatsApp, or if you go to the website, there's a form you fill, and everything else. You just fill in whatever you want, and it will be delivered to your doorstep every Tuesday and every Friday. And then we have restaurants that we supply, and we have butcheries that we supply as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So all people need to do is use the WhatsApp
Just
number
go to
on
the
the
WhatsApp.
screen.
Oh, there.
I'm putting it there for you guys
just
on
go
the
and
screen.
you'll find a very nice, simple form
that you can go fill.
And it will fill, and then we'll see at our back end. That's also introducing technology, because you don't have to keep calling us. You fill, us will see the back end.
Yes.
Because you even have as specific as your delivery address, and even do you want to be called or do you want to be texted?
Oh,
Utaki rider wetu ashinda
akikupigia.
Utapata tu nyama yako kwa nyumba with your
That's
invoice.
nice.
Yes.
That's only for Nairobi. People in Nyeri, people in Narok, people in Kisumu.
By the way, that's the thing. We have a client that has decided him is not eating. We know we have cooler boxes for him. We send meat to him too. We have one in Kirugoya, another one in Mombasa. We just put it in the cooler box and send.
Thank you. Me since I tasted this kind of meat.
Yes.
I can't relate with the other. Actually, maybe it's punda for real. Maybe dad.
I think but have you ever passed through Nairobi and you see a cow or a goat in the dustbin and you're like, where is this going to end up? It's going to end up in a slaughterhouse.
Hata sivyo, na ukipata buchari ina hata inzi unashindwa hii nyama kama hata hakuna inzi.
Someone actually was doing that who does that randomly. I don't know that she still does. She used to randomly test meat. There's a time she did this week. I was seeing it. I think it was on X. And how much preservatives we are adding into the meat.
Shola ad.
Yeah.
She's actually testing a lot of things. Meat, milk. Yes, guys, follow that account. That person is actually doing an amazing job.
What? Why are we preserving? But also, we also need to educate, because there was a time we were doing an education and telling people when meat changes color, it's not bad. Because what have you been taught? Red meat, nyama fresh. But you see, for example, meat is being transported, let's say between here and there, it will change a color to browning.
Yes.
It is not bad meat. It is oxidized. It is the way it was packed. But what pressure have we given our butchers also? Because sometimes also even these things that people are doing, I'm not justifying what they are doing. It's wrong. But sometimes the pressure is we've been taught red meat is meat. I was seeing someone saying the way they saw this yellow fat and they didn't buy the meat. But that's how I can tell by looking at it, a grass-fed animal. A grass-fed animal will have more yellow fat than white fat.
It's how we've been taught.
Yes.
It's how
So we
we've
also,
been-
I think, also need to educate, demystify,
Yes.
and say, the way mbuzi were just eaten, it is okay. Let's
Yes.
go back.
Yeah.
And if someone has a backyard, put your 2-3 goats and let's eat them.
Yeah. And maybe as we wind up, there's this narrative. People think slow living is sina kazi mingi kwa farm, nimechill too. Like it's slow.
Yes.
To you, what is slow living? And also, how do you decompress when there are a lot of things going on? Are you going for a spa? Are you going to like a salon? How do you decompress? Because it can get really hectic.
Slow living just means I am in charge and in control of my time.
Good.
It means that I choose how to spend my time.
Yes.
And traffic doesn't choose that I spend my 2 hours in traffic. So it doesn't mean that I'm not working.
Mimi unajua senyewe najiuliza. Unajua nilikuwa naishi Ngumba kitambo. And I remember for me to get to the office when I was, my previous company was in Westlands.
Yes.
And for me to leave Gumba to Westlands,
yes,
I needed to wake up so early. So I catch my 5:30 matatu.
Yes.
So that kwa sababu you miss, you will get to that office at 9.
Yes.
Ile traffic itakukula hapo Thika Road.
Yes.
You will know you don't know.
And that's just exactly slow living. Slow living is I have chosen how to spend my time and not on the things that the bustle of the city is forcing me to do. So I'm actually think I might be working a bit smarter than this because it's not hard, it's smarter. But that's exactly what slow living is. How do I decompress? I thankfully have a community of church.
Yeah.
So once in a while, at least I try twice or thrice a month to be in church, to be in small groups, what people call the Bible study. We call them discipleship groups in where I worship. So just that and people feeling it in. What I've also done is I've also opened my house. Let me tell you, I hear that maisha na kunyorosha Nairobi. So just come. Hata ingie sijare mali ndakuchukua.
Just come.
Just come. Just come and relax. And maybe after that, you will feel a bit better. Because let me tell you, there's nothing as beautiful. And here, this place, I hope you catch the sunset and the sunrise are so beautiful. You wake up in the morning, you see your sunset. I wake up in the morning when I'm having. Sometimes you also need to see people who are living simply. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking payroll, and I go to my herders because they always they're sitting in the morning to drink tea.
Yes.
And you just go and take tea.
Na wako story too.
And they are so grateful for the rains. In fact, there's a thing kwa Kimasai tunakula lomon because we can't just start. Sisi kwambia Lynn sasa and then I tell you what I want. You have to say habari ya watoto kumenyesha. Watoto also remember kusema watoto use their wifi kumenyesha. And we just go and kula those lomon. For them they are so grateful and you realize I'm actually the one who is overthinking things.
Yeah, just the one who is overthinking.
And so you just now need to figure out what decompression look like for you. For me, I love my books. So I'm always having a book. I will drive to this bush and just sit somewhere and read my book. Sometimes I'll accompany the herders with my book and read. When I feel like but you also now learn to depend on yourself. We've learned to brew coffee, to brew our own coffee. So I think it's saving us money.
Plant your own food.
Plant your own food. And sometimes also it might be just also you have not eaten well.
Yes.
So just eat well. Also.
Just eat well. Kula tu kidogo.
And also this community where I am now, we're about 5 of us that have moved back, and we've really just have said that because we didn't choose, we found ourselves here. We found now we've just been forming a little community here and there. And
the Ubuntu is back, honey.
It is back.
Ubuntu is back.
Yes.
I love to hear it. Me, I could sit here with you the whole time having these conversations. I'm so grateful to God I keep meeting people like you, even as I take this journey with my partner.
Yes.
We are so excited every time we're in the field and we pick a thing or two.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank people like you who obviously crawled so that people like us can run. Me nakimbia. I'm learning.
Wow.
I'm learning from the best.
I was looking at your borehole and I'm like, guy, these are mistakes. These are things I should have started with at that time. You were thinking.
Yeah, but it's because of people like you. I come, I share, I observe, I get, taught a few things here and there, and I go, I write them down, and I pick them, and I say thank you because again.
You're doing an amazing job. What I'm like, by then I was like, someone should have started this thing when I was starting. Because me when I was starting, it's so funny because I drive a pickup. But when I was starting, it's because all the videos I watched, People in the farm drove pickups.
Yes.
In hindsight, at that time, maybe I should have started with a borehole.
Unaona sasa?
Ningeanza na maji.
Yes.
But at that time, what are you saying?
Yes. Na kufeel. But again, school fees lazima
very fast. Squeezy, by the way. And,
yes.
and I'm very happy with what you guys are doing, because people are not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
People are watching and learning and saying, what can I do? Because you know, you're saying school fees. You can learn through your own school fees, or you can learn through other people's school fees.
And a wise man learns from other people's experiences.
Yes.
An African proverb, by the way. Yes. Thank you. By the way, you own solar.
Yes, we are on solar.
You also have a borehole.
Yes.
That's how you get your water. And
we started with a dam, actually.
Yes.
And piped it down to the slaughterhouse. And now we have a borehole.
All the way to the slaughterhouse.
Yes.
And then now you have a borehole.
Now I have a borehole.
Good.
But the processing center, which they now where the slaughterhouse is, we run purely on solar.
Yeah.
Purely on solar, and it's one of the best decisions you're making.
Bili ya KPLC ni
KPLC wanaweza kuzimikia ile saa uko na nyama kwa cold room.
Utadu. There you go. Utadu. Security is good. It's good.
Labda haina tu kuamsha usiku na kelele, but generally security is good.
Yes.
You know, there was a time, I don't know that it was in January, the moon was going up to about 8. You know, I would walk from the slaughterhouse. It's only 4.7 kilometers. I would walk at that time, and no one bothers with you.
Yeah.
You, if you're able to learn that by 8, elephants are not out, so you can walk. Here, it's still peaceful. You've seen the kind of gates we have.
Yes, we coexisted. Unaona, we knew elephants zinatokeanga this time. We knew all these things. Whether they can drive from the slaughterhouse to your home was really, it was really nice.
Yes.
So I can imagine how you feel every other day. The views.
Oh yes.
Yani uko tu hapa unaona hizi vitu zote
hapa nimetembea haya sawa.
We are sorry boss. Enjoy this on behalf of all of us. Do you do farm visits?
Yes.
Okay.
People can book same form.
Yes.
You'll have a farm visit and we can able to host you. We also we've been starting what is called hand holding if you want to keep livestock. We hopefully the ones around here, because we're able then to offset to pick their livestock. Ukuje mpaka uone mnyama wangu amechinjwa ametoa 17 kilos. Nikwambia 17 kilos mimi nauzianga client wangu this much, I'll take this much for management. That's it. So we decided also hand holding people.
Yeah.
Because you see also people are rushing to export, but bado to commit deficit country.
Yes.
But even if the day we want to do exports, are we able to aggregate that number to push for a better price? So yes, people are allowed to come to farm visits. People who want to come and learn especially about breeding and livestock keeping are welcome.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lynn.
It was really nice hanging out with you.
Yes.
Obviously grateful to you for the warm welcome again to me and my wonderful team.
Thank you. You guys are cool peeps.
It's that easy. Imagine it's this easy.
I really felt like I'm just having a chat with a girlfriend.
Man, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As we wind up, what parting shot do you want to give our audience? Feel free.
I think what I'm telling, especially millennials, because I feel like Gen Zs, they have a different memo.
Yes.
Let's go back. And don't complicate it with a backyard you have. I'm also very aware that I am privileged as a Maasai child to have land at disposal. You know, every time you tell someone in 200s, in 300s, they're like, just start. Start by knowing where your schoolmates come from. And sometimes also, there's something that 844 taught us as millennials. Ile tukua tunaficha answers.
Yes.
Look for even partners. You have a kakuta, I have a kakuta. Can we combine? Let's do veg. Let's do maize. Let's just control what is going into our bodies. And that's just how we win. This seed was that we keep going to court about it. I borrow your seeds. I give you. I don't have maize. You have kunde. We just exchange. And let me tell you, let's go back to that.
Yes. Let's go back.
And start. Don't overcomplicate it.
Easy.
Just start
Just
where
start.
you can. If it's a backyard, that's okay. If it's a balcony,
that's okay. If it's kitchen garden
that's
tires,
okay.
that's okay.
And if you also can't, because there are people who are not able or are not willing,
yes,
then buy from a farmer that you know.
Good. Good. Love that.
Yeah.
Hiyo kitu ya kuficha answers ilikuwa
Sini
nini?
844
Sasa mlitufichia answers. Look at. Hey, anyways. Na ni kukram. Ungepea mtu. Anyway, let me not advocate for bad behavior. But I really do hope you guys have had a good time like I have. We've really had a beautiful conversation. And guys, this really, like every time I sit down with these people, man, na feel tu niendelee kuwapea mob so that we do this collectively. Ubuntu is back, and we are going to play our role in it, sindio? And I want to say thank you to my dear friend Esther of Tech Home for recommending this wonderful woman. Yeah, I really hope I've made you proud, and I love when you guys recommend shows for me as well. Let me know who else you would love for me to feature. Yeah, but Esther, it has been an amazing sitting here with your amazing friend having this conversation. So shukran sana my team. Muga utuweka tu isaidia jua ndio yako kwa kivuli ile side, but we really just appreciate him. So Muga Scholar, thank you so much. Joshua on the drone shots, asante sana. Our incredible editors, Dave and Sam, shukran. And of course, our business sector, Valerie and Mutange, we really do appreciate you guys. It's been wonderful being here. Mi naenda kukula nyama yangu sasa pole pole bila stress, ni bebe ingine. Yes, that is it. Hapo kwa kula box nikibeba nikienda nayo. And she really has not paid me anything. But if you are looking for legit meat, you can trace it all the way back here. All the contact details are on the screen. Hit her up, go fill that form, place your orders if you're in a position to ask her questions. Also, if you want to ask questions, follow them on Instagram as well. And I hope you enjoy your meal as well. Sawa sawa. Yeah, so have an amazing time. My name is Lynn. See you guys on the next one. And if you want to recommend yourself as well, we have an email, info@lnn.digital or lynn.ngugi@lnn.digital. Just send a brief of your story there, attach a few images of your farm as well, and who knows, we might be sitting with you on our next episode of Reclaiming Our Identity Through the Soil. This is the return of Ubuntu, and I am happy to play a key role in it. Sawa. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.